This is my latest project. It's a crochet top. The pattern is by DMC and it's got these lovely, they call this part of the pattern the pineapple. It's got little tiny crop sleeves and it's worked all in one piece in a circle round and round from the bottom, and then you begin to split at the top for the arms. Although it's a DMC pattern, I'm actually using Drops Cotton Light for the yarn. It's a 50% cotton and 50% polyester. It's lovely and soft, and I quite like that colour, so I'd got the yarn, so I thought I'd try it. It seems to work okay. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook and doing the first size, and it seems to be coming out perfectly to size with the pattern. It is quite a complicated pattern. They say it is an advanced level. It's only got double crochet, treble and chain stitch, and I think if you take your time and study the pattern, it's not the sort of thing you want to do while watching TV. You need full concentration because it's quite complicated in just concentrating on what you're doing. The stitches aren't complicated, but it's just the counting and making sure that you're in the right place. There's a few parts in the pattern where you could go wrong, and I'll show you those in a moment. For instance, here in round 10 it says 5 chain, 1 double crochet in the next 5 chain space. So you have to be careful, because on the previous row this here is actually a 3 chain space, so you miss that, and the pattern says in the next 5 chain space, so it would be quite easy to go into there, but you're not. You're going into this one here, which is the next 5 chain space, and you're doing your double crochet into there, and that leaves this as like a ladder effect between the pieces, and the pattern is beginning to take shape. You can see what they call the pineapple, which is this piece here. I shall come back later, show you some more as it grows, but I'm really pleased with it. It's a really effective pattern and quite easy to do too. Now the pattern is done in rounds. You go round one way and then you stop, turn and go back the other way. So it makes one continuous piece. You won't have edge seams to sew, but each round is quite different, and there are 14 rows to the pattern repeat, so you don't even get into much of a rhythm with it. So what I do, because it can be quite easy to make mistakes, as you can see here, you've got different little parts to each round, and they're all different, so I write them out into a little notebook. As I say, we all have different ways of doing this, but this is a way that works for me. I write out each little section of the round, so here I've got 5 chain, 1 double crochet into the next 5 chain space, and it says to do that 7 times, so I've written 7. The next part of the round is to do 5 chain, and you do a cluster into the 2 chain space of the cluster below, but I've just written cluster into cluster because I understand that. It just helps me to break it all down. The next part is 5 chain with a double crochet into the next 5 chain space, but you just do that twice, and then you do a 5 chain and again a cluster into a cluster, and you repeat it 3 times. So I write all this out, and then as I've done that little section, I tick it off. Now it does mean stopping working, picking up your pen, but like I say, to me it's worth it, because in the past I've had to undo so many pieces that I think this works the best. And you work down, and then when I come to do it the second time, the first repeat, second repeat, I just tick them off on the bottom there. And I do that for each round, and as I say, there's 14 rounds to each pattern repeat, and you do it 14 times, and then you do it from row 1 to 7 again before you begin to shape the armholes. And I shall come back later and show you a bit more. When you come to the end of the round, because you start here and you go all the way round, when you get back up here, the way you join it is to do a slip stitch into the top of this stitch here, and then you do 2 more slip stitches which bring you up into the middle of this cluster, that you then turn, so you're going back again the other way, and you do your 3 chain, and then you work a cluster in there where you've just done the slip stitches, and that's the start of your next row. So there's your cluster that you do, the first one of the round. And then you go back off this way round, and then you'll do the same when you join back in just there when you come back. So here we are, this is my finished tunic top. I'm really pleased with it. The design is fantastic, it's really unusual. It's got little cap sleeves, little frilly ones that were quite easy to do. We just did those round once the top was sewn up. There was only sewing at the shoulder seam on each side, and then you picked up stitches and put the sleeves in. So not much sewing involved there. The only criticism I would have of the pattern is the tension. To check your tension, you have to do 1 pattern repeat, which is 14 rows, and the tension square is 9 inches by 6 1/4 inches for the smallest size. So to check your tension, you've really got to crochet a piece which is sort of from here, that sort of size. Now that's a lot of work just to check your tension and see if you should use a bigger hook or not. Whether DMC could come up with some better way, perhaps a tension square, I don't know, but luckily this came out okay and I'm really pleased with it. So there you go. If you decide to do this and you have any problems, I don't claim to be a crochet expert. I've been crocheting at home for about 50 years. Happy to help. If you've got any questions, you can find me on Facebook. I'm called Pookie Doodle Crafts, and I'm also on Ravelry, again Pookie Doodle. You'll find me on there, and hope you enjoy it if you do it. Bye for now.